Hey there, Stampers. Happy Sunday. Welcome to today's Facebook Live. I know normally I don't do Facebook Lives on Sundays, but I wanted to do one today because it's the last day to register for our World Card Making Day event on October 3rd. And so I wanted to do another quick video sharing a project using the Many Mates bundle, which is the product that we're going to focus on World Card Making Day. My name is Sherry Roth. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Alberta, Canada. And usually my Facebook Lives are on Friday at 11 a.m., but this week I've kind of thrown in a couple bonus Facebook Lives, and I do that on occasion. Okay, so back to today's project. This bundle, I like to call it, if you watched my video on Thursday, you've heard me say this before, I like to call it a complementary bundle because it is a great one to complement so many other things that you have on hand. So a good greeting set is always nice to have on hand, and this one is a great set because it's got greetings for the outside and greetings for the inside and greetings for many different occasions. So it covers get well, anniversary, birthday, congratulations, thinking of you, thank you. So it covers a nice broad range of greetings. But the other great thing about it is you can use them independently, but you can also use them together, and you can mix them with some great products. So just because this isn't seasonal doesn't mean that you can't make it seasonal. So there are people that have birthdays in the fall. There are reasons to congratulate people in the fall or during the holidays or in the winter. So you can combine it with those things that you already have on hand. So that's what I'm going to do today. Okay, so let's see here. I'm going to set this aside. I am starting with a not Whisper White, a very vanilla card base. It's standard size, so 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. Here's my bone folder to make that nice and crisp. And today I'm going to do some sponging. I'm making a fall project. So this card is for a friend who just recently got a new job, so I'm going to send her a little congrats card. And when I do fall projects, I don't always sponge, but I do like to sponge. So I'm using crumb cake ink and one of our Stampin' sponges. This is just about 1/8 of an inch of one of our round Stampin' sponges. And I just kind of cut a piece of cardstock to show me what shade of ink it's for. So this isn't necessarily just for crumb cake, but it's for lighter browns. I don't have a sponge for each color. All right, so we're going to leave that out because we've got lots of sponging to do. So my card base is ready, and then I've gone ahead and I have cut this large background die from a piece of very vanilla cardstock. So I've gone ahead and cut it, and I'm going to sponge it as well. Still using crumb cake. So a little tip when you're passing this through, actually I can share a few tips with you. It really depends on your machine and how tight your machine is. So I am using the new Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. I ran this through once and it came out okay. I had to take, even using the brush, I had to take my paper piercer and pierce quite a few of these out. So then the next time I did it, I ran it through. Let me share here. So I ran it through, and then the other thing is don't put it straight on, put it at a little bit of an angle, feed it through, and then when it was passed through, what I did was I flipped over the top mat and then brought it back. So that's a little trick for you. By flipping your mat over, it will help prevent too much warping on your cutting mats. Okay, so I flipped that over, and then the die comes off really nicely and there's no pieces left in the die. So then I just peel this off, and then I use my brush and I brush it. And most of the pieces, there were a few little ones that I ended up having to poke out with my paper piercing tool. But it worked out really, really well. So play around with it. I know another trick that a lot of demonstrators do with these more detailed dies is they like to use wax paper. So that's another option as well. Okay, so now to adhere this, Now, you guys know, if you are a regular watcher of my Facebook Lives, you know that I love my self-adhesive sheets. However, because this is a little bit more of a detailed die and on a large scale, I found that having the adhesive sheets on the back really makes a difference in how well it cuts and how easy those pieces come out. It was way too finicky. So this is another trick that you can do if you don't have adhesive sheets and you've got these detailed dies. Here's another little trick. So I have a silicone mat. This silicone mat is only used for this purpose. You can wash it, but you still end up with these kind of, I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's still shiny. It's not sticky, but it's still shiny. Yeah, I guess you guys can see it a little bit. So like I said, it's not sticky, it's fine, but I can't seem to get those off. So I use it for this purpose only. So what you can do is you can put a glob of multi-purpose glue, and I have another 1/8 of a sponge that I use just for this purpose. Now this I did try to wash, because I think it was Shauna on Thursday when I did my Facebook Live and I shared this tip. She asked, well, can you wash the sponge? I did try washing it and it's still sticky. So you do want to, washing didn't really do anything at all. So you do want to save that just for this purpose. So I'm just tapping that glue onto there. And it doesn't have to cover every surface, but I am trying to get quite a bit around the edges. And then I will slide that out of the way so that I don't get glue on everything. And then that's going to go right in the center of the card. Isn't that pretty? I mean, like at this point, really, all you'd need is maybe a die cut label shape or punch with a greeting on it, and you're good. Like, it doesn't need much more than that. Let me bring it in a little closer so you can see. Look at that beautiful background. I love it. Okay, so now we are going to go on. I'm just going to cover this over until we're ready to sponge some more. I have a piece of old olive scrap, and now I'm going to pull in this Gather Together stamp set and the coordinating dies. These are called the Gathered Leaves dies. Both of these items were new to the catalog last year, and they carried over. So I'm going to use this large maple leaf, and I believe I used the wheat. And then from the dies, I'm going to cut out the maple leaf and then use these two as well. Okay, so this is how I'm showing you guys how this is such a great complementary set, how it complements so many different products. And if you participate in our World Card Making Day on October 3rd, you'll see so much more of that, and you'll get a ton more ideas. So registration closes today if you want your kits to arrive in time for the event. And there are 3 ways that you can participate. So you can purchase online using this host code. And if your order is $60 or more, and the bundle is $69, so you could pick up the bundle or you could pick up something else, because you do not need to own this bundle in order to participate in this. You can use what you have on hand, and in each one of the videos, we will suggest alternate products, just in case you don't own the bundle, okay? So that's an option. The second option is to pay a $35 class fee, and you'll get the kit. The third option is to join my team, and then you can participate for free. And there's a great starter kit promotion on right now where you get added product to the already fabulous deal of the starter kit, which is $165 worth of product of your choice, and you pay only $135, no shipping and no taxes. So it's a great deal. And in addition to that, Stampin' Up! Will send you 2 stamp sets that they've chosen and 16 card kits, 8 each of 2 different designs. So it is a great, great deal. So I will post a link to my online shop and also all the details for this event and a link to join Stampin' Up! If you'd like to join my team. We've got team members across Canada that are participating in this event, all the way from the Maritimes to BC. So it's going to be a really, really great event. So it's just an opportunity for our customers to get together and craft together. We've got lots of fun stuff planned. Okay, so I've gone ahead and I've cut that. I believe I pre-cut everything else. So let's slide this across. So what I just used was our new Stampin' Cut and Emboss. That's quite the mouthful. Machine. And you can actually choose that as part of your starter kit. So that's a great deal. So I think it's don't quote me on this. I think it's just over $160. I think it might be $163. But if you get to choose $165 worth of product in your starter kit and only pay $135, you can get it for $135 and save shipping and taxes. So that's a fabulous deal in and of itself. Okay, so I've got my leaf here and I'm going to take it, put it in my hand and crumple it up. Some of you are probably cringing. I know some people have a problem with that. Karen commented that she washes her sponge all the time before it dries. So is it still sticky if you wash it before it dries? I'm curious because maybe that's the key. Although I'm not fast enough. I'm kind of a lazy stamper. I like to do things at my own pace and I like to take shortcuts here and there. So like I just won't wash it. I washed it this time to check it out because somebody had asked. So that's the only reason why I washed it. No, it's not sticky. Okay, so that's good to know. So if you use that sponging technique with the glue, if you wash your sponge before it dries, then it will not stay sticky. Okay, so I've got these two leaves. So those were cut from the Gathered Leaves dies, and look at the texture on there. So this one I cut from the, what is it called? Brushed metallic cardstock, the copper color. And then this one is just cut from soft suede cardstock. So this one I'm not going to crumple up, but this one I'm just going to kind of fold up the petals a little bit and add some sponging here. Okay, and then I've got a scrap of Whisper White cardstock. And I'm going to bring in the wheat image from that Gathered Leaves or Gather Together stamp set. And I've got some bumblebee cards or bumblebee ink. Stamp that on there just like that. And then I've gone ahead, there are no dies for this one, so I've gone ahead and I've fussy cut it. And I'm going to sponge around the edges of that. And I didn't worry about that. That's going to get tucked underneath somewhere. I might end up trimming it off so it's shorter, but for right now, I'm not going to worry about that end. So there we go. Okay. So make sure you say hi. If you're watching, make sure you say hi. And if you enjoy this video, please share it. I will do a draw to win this card for somebody who shares and comments and participates in the Facebook Live. I will draw a winner to win this card. Okay, let's see here. What else do I need? Okay, the other things that I've pre-done. Okay, so I have used another die set, and this is another great complementary die set. So this is another one that complements so many different things. Hey, Christine. This is the Tasteful Labels dies, and these have so many different shaped labels. So I've gone ahead and I've cut this guy right here from Terracotta Tile, and this one right here from Vanilla. This one's going to go on the inside. Hey, Brenda. Hey, Sue. And then this one's going to go on the outside. So I'm going to sponge those. And then I think I've got all my pieces. I have a little bit more stamping that I need to do. just find sponging around the edges just gives it a nice soft look. I just love it. Hey, Alice. Hi, Wanda. Okay, actually, I just remembered I have one more thing to stamp. Where did that? There, here we go. All right, so I'm going to use this You're Just So Fabulous, and I'm going to use soft suede ink, stamp this onto the scrap of vanilla. I love that there's so many different fonts in this stamp set. Okay, and then I have a 1.5 inch circle punch. I'm going to use that to punch the greeting out. So many little pieces to this card today. So I did make a sample of this card, but I might make a small modification. Okay. All right, so I think we've got all the pieces that we need for the outside of our card. We still have a bit of stamping to do for the inside, but let's work on our focal point here. Now, I am using some old olive ribbon. This isn't available anymore. It was from the product medley that was in, I think it was the Occasions catalog last year, the one with the lemons in it. I love, love, love this ribbon. But if you're looking for old olive ribbon in this width, we have some in, I think it's the Ornate, oh, what is it? Ornate something or other sweet. And you get a 2-pack of ribbon. You get old olive and terracotta tile. So you could use that ribbon in place of it. Okay, so I'm just going to cut a scrap of this. All right, this is going to go on first, and that is going to go on using dimensionals. And I'm not going to use a lot because I'm going to be tucking a few things here and there underneath. So I put one on the top and one on the bottom. And this is going to go right in the center of our label. Just like that. This piece I'm going to fold in half and use a mini glue dot to stick it on. And that's going to get tucked right underneath here. And I'm not concerned with having it go on this side because this side is going to get completely covered over with our cluster of leaves. I am going to trim this though. This is a little bit long. Okay, so we've got that. Now we're going to work on our cluster. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add my largest leaf. And that is going to get tucked right in like that. And then the next size, that's going to go right there. And then our wheat is going to go in behind. I will need to trim this a little bit. Might need to trim it even more. Yeah. That's going to go in there. So we'll add a little bit of adhesive behind here. These two pieces are for the inside of our card. There we go. And then the last thing I'm going to do, well, actually, let's add this to our card front first. Okay, I was going to do it, just kind of playing around with the positioning. My sample I did in the middle. This one I was going to do down here. Yeah, I think that looks good. I am going to do it in the lower right. So I'll add some adhesive on here. Do you guys have anything planned for this afternoon, for this Sunday afternoon? It's actually my husband's birthday today, so we're going over to my parents' place for supper. And I made one of his favorite desserts. I can't wait to have it. I love it. It's so simple, but it's delicious. It's just a no-bake cheesecake in individual cups with fresh strawberries on the top. Oh, it's delicious. Hey, Amy. Okay, so what I'm using now is I am using a piece of, this is old olive linen thread. This is something from a catalog probably at least a year ago. It's no longer available. We still have regular linen thread, but not the old olive. And I just thought the old olive was just the perfect touch for this card. So I'm just going to use a little mini glue dot. Actually, I'm going to use a dot of Tombow. And stick that on there. Oh, you've got your move this weekend, Amy. That's awesome. Are you excited? I love moving. It's a lot of work, but I'll pass on your birthday greetings, Christine. It's a lot of work, but I love it. I love it's like a fresh start. Trying to figure out where everything goes and yeah, just arranging the furniture. I just love it. Oh, happy birthday to your dad, Sue. All right, so there's the outside of the card. Now I want to do something on the inside. So I'm going to bring in my Stamparatus. Now this is a stamp positioning tool. Some of you may be familiar with it, some maybe not. This is perfect if you're mass producing or if you have trouble getting things straight. This is perfect, a perfect solution. So what I want to do is I want to stamp 2 of the greetings from the Many Mates set. So in here, so I used this one on the outside, you're just so fabulous. And then I want to put congrats and where is it? Where is it? So happy for you, but without the also slightly jealous. So that's what I want to do. And it's not impossible to get things straight when you're stamping 2 different greetings together, but the Stamparatus makes it much easier. So I've gone ahead and I've cut this die, and so I'm going to use the negative space so that I can fit this nicely in here. And then it doesn't matter which one you do first, since this is already lined up. I've already done a test run and made sure that it's all perfectly lined up. And in order to do that, I use just a piece of plastic that I stamp on first so that I can see through to make sure that it's lined up specifically where I want it to be lined up. So, and because this one I only want to use the top line, so happy for you, I'm going to use my Stampin' Right marker and ink that up. So I'm going to use the brush tip of the marker. And when you use your Stampin' Right markers, you want to use them at an angle. You don't want to use them up like this, because then your tip will start to fray, and it will start to fray faster than it will if you use the side of the marker. And these are water-based markers, so these are different than our Stampin' Blends. The Stampin' Blends are alcohol-based markers. Those you do not want to use right on your stamps. Okay, so we've got that inked. I'm going to close it up, stamp that down, and we've got the So Happy. And then I'll just clean that. The other great thing about the Stamparatus is if that didn't ink up very well or stamp very well, let's say the word so didn't stamp, what you can do is just re-ink that and then stamp it again, and it will be in exactly the same position because you haven't touched anything, and this magnet holds it in place. Okay, if you're unfamiliar with the Stamparatus, I do have a few videos on my YouTube channel. You can check those out. That goes into some of the ways that you can use it. Okay, so now I'm going to take this out. I'm going to rotate it around, and I've got the word congrats right there, ready to go. And this time I'm going to use Old Olive ink, and because I'm using the whole thing, I don't need to use Stampin' Right markers. So I'm just going to tap gently. You don't need to add a lot of pressure or anything, because if you do, you'll find that you get lots of ink around the edges. So then I'll just stamp that. And look at that, it's perfectly lined up. And the first try. So the Stamparatus is a wonderful tool. Okay, so I'm going to clean that, and then we'll put that away and finish up the inside of our card. Okay. All right. So we got that, and bring back the card base. I'm going to open it up. And this is going to go on flat. Actually, everything on the inside will go on flat. Just so you don't want to add a ton of extra bulk on the inside of your card. Otherwise, you'll end up having to pay extra for postage. Okay, and then this leaf is going to go on. Sometimes I think we make all these beautiful cards. They're so pretty on the outside, and then we don't do anything on the inside. So I'm guilty of that, for sure. I'm guilty of that. But sometimes I like to do something a little special on the inside. So, and I'm going to add another little old olive bow on here. And we'll use a dot of Tombow. That on there, and then because I sponged the outside, I am going to sponge the inside. What did I do with my crumb cake? Here it is. So that'll be a nice surprise when she opens the card and sees that little touch on the inside. Plus, if you're not very wordy, there's less space for you to have to think of something to write, right? Okay, all right, so there we go. There's our card. There's the outside of the card using the Many Mates bundle, and I combined it together with the Gathered Together stamp set and the Gathered Leaves dies. There's the inside, and let me bring in the first sample that I made. So this one has it in the middle. Which one do you prefer? Do you prefer the one in the lower right, or do you prefer the one with the cluster in the middle? I'd love to hear which one you prefer. So remember, whether you're watching live or the replay, feel free to comment, feel free to ask questions. I go back and look through the comments, and you have the opportunity to win this card that I made today. So I'll send it to you. And it doesn't matter where you're from. I'd love to hear, especially if you're not local to me. Well, whether you're local to me or not, I'd love to hear where you're from, because I know that it's always fun to see people like from Australia or far away watching. So I love that. All right, and then just a reminder before I head out that lower right. Okay, most people like the lower right. Just a reminder before I head out that today is the last day to RSVP or to register for our World Card Making Day event. I will post a link in the description with all the details. And that's if you want to receive your kit in time to participate in the event. Otherwise, you can register up until the day before, and that's completely fine, but your kit won't arrive until after the event. Okay? All right, so thanks so much for watching. Have a fabulous day. I will chat with you guys later. Take care.